पुनत्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम। We saw last time, instead of invoking Lord in some idol or some picture or some symbol, I can as well invoke Lord as myself, because ultimately He is not different from me. It is a bhavana. I can imagine myself to be non-separate from Ishvara. As I said, it is a bhavana to begin with. You do that with that attitude that Lord is sitting right here inside. Therefore, before you chant Vishnu Sahasrama or Rudram, there is a Anganyasa, invoking the Lord in various limbs, like you start with thumbs, then Tarjani and Madhyama, and etc. Then you say Radhe Nyasaha, Shirasi Nyasaha, and then you say Sarvadik Nyasaha. All the sites, everywhere I invoke Lord. Now, this Abheda Bhavana is pavani, is very purifying. Why it is purifying? Because it is a stepping stone to discover the non-duality, which is a fact. You start Abheda with Bhavana, ultimately you discover Abheda to be true. Then you discover the vision of Abheda. And therefore, it is Pavaniman. Therefore also, those of you who have attended puja over here in ashram, so you might be remembering this. We start with the prayer, Deho Devalayah Prokto Jivo Devas Sanatana Tyajed Ajnana Nirmalyam Soham Bhavena Pujayet. This body is looked upon as abode of Ishvara. It's a temple. Just by the way, to explain you the vision of Hindu culture. This is the vision behind the Hindu forms. When they go for bath, a typical Hindu taking a shower will invoke the Sapta Tirthani, 7 most sacred rivers, by saying Gange Yamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhim Kuru. Oh Ganga, Yamuna, Sindhu, Kaveri, Narmada, etc. I invoke all the 7 rivers into this water, either pond or river or well, or you can say modern, in this Jalesmin, in this water, we have to say, Shavaresmin Sandhitim Kuru. May you be present in the shower, or may you be present in this tabesmin Sandhitim Kuru. Whatever this is, maybe they invoke 7 rivers because bathing is nothing but is not different from giving abhisheka to Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? That shloka, Atma Tvam Girijamati Sarachara Prana Shariram Gurupam. You are the self. The self is the Ishvara. To that Ishvara I am offering this abhishek. Even doing this chandanam or shungaram. Those days, male also used to wear kundalam, this in the ears. They also used to wear their things, ornaments, bangles, because it is not for decoration. It is not such a get-up of the face. It is primarily as shungara for Ishvara. I am offering this to Ishvara, who is sitting inside as the very self to whom it is offered. And therefore, even in south of India, you go, they have at least a vibhuti. Or some have chandanam and some have kumkum. These are the only three things which were done as a this forehead tikka. Chanlo apne Gujarati we say. These are the 3 things done. This is all modern because, yes, they look upon this as a get-up. And now convent education here has created a feeling, a little of lowness. It is moneyman style. You do putti. No. And now this, especially modern media, they see as a symbol of characterizing the person. I have seen some of the TV channels, and there is a woman, when she is to be portrayed, she is a villain in that particular serial or that particular movie. Then this chandanam will be snake, like sarpakar, just to show us that she is a villain. This is not meant for that. You may have your psychological problems. That doesn't mean you should portray it over here. And then sometimes they draw a sun here. Sometimes they draw a moon here. This is a symbol of royalty, sort of. These are all modern. The whole ornamentation or puttu in the body is with a bhavana that Ishvara is right here within me. It gives an attitude of sanctity, attitude of pavitrata, and then I conduct accordingly myself with that bhava. Okay. So Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sanatana. That Jivatma is a Devata, Ishvara. And how do I worship? Soham Bhavena Pujayet. I worship with an attitude that I am that Ishvara, or in other words, Ishvara is non-separate from me. That is called Upasana. This Ahangraha Upasana, this prayer or Upasana, seeing the Lord as a self, is better than Veda Bhavana, because that is ultimate truth, which one needs to discover. And please understand, when the Lord is considered as different, really different from me, there is nothing wrong in worshipping him as somebody who is away from me. And it is true also that Lord somehow is considered to be omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipowerful, etc. And then he's sitting somewhere up above. That's fine. But that is not the ultimate truth. This is aupadikam. From the standpoint of body, mind complex, He is certainly different from me. He is, with reference to body, all powerful and all knowledge, etc. But it is from one standpoint like a wave. Ocean is all powerful with reference to the size and the form of the wave. But from the standpoint of content, the water, the content of the wave is water, and the content of the ocean is water. That is the ultimate truth. And that ultimate truth one needs to discover. And as long as this Veda Bhava is there, there is a difference between the devotee, the one who worships, and the one who is worshipped. That difference is there. Till then, bhayam, sense of limitation, sense of separation, sense of insecurity, all that sense of being unhappy, sense of being incompleteness will never go. The devotee taking the Bheda Bhava as ultimate reality will be always a beggar. Because the beggar is the one who finds himself or herself as not rich enough. He or she is insufficient. Recently, one beggar in India died in Bombay, and they discovered 2 crores of rupees. And the fellow died as a beggar. That means he thought that I am incomplete, insufficient, I don't have money, I need money. This devotee who looks upon the Lord as really separate from me, as different from me, will first of all will have bhayam, as I told you last time. The 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna sees the cosmic form of Ishvara, where he says, yeah, all the sides are filled up by you. Vaya ekena sarvaha dishaha purna. All the sides are filled up by you, O Lord. Dishona labhena sharma. I do not know which is east and which is west and which is south and north and which is up and which is down. Because you are everywhere. That's what Arjuna thought. But then, since he considered that all, and he says, Sarvat, you are all pervasive. But then he considered that all pervasive Ishvara to be really different from him, and therefore he had a bhayam with himself. He was afraid. And since he said, Bhitosmi, he says, Oh Bhagavan, I am afraid of you. You be tenaiva saumya rupena bhava sahasra murte. Oh Lord, may you be the one with that form which is softer form, which is that form which does not create fear in me. This form itself created fear because he thought he is so big and I am so small. It creates bhayam, sense of separation, as I said, keeps this fellow beggar. Either seeking some improvement, some change, some freedom from some dukkham or unpleasant situation, or some protection. Oh Lord, protect me. Oh Lord, save me. At least that fellow will be keep asking the Lord, oh Lord, let this bhava be always there. Let me always be surrendering to you. That bhava should not go away from me. That kind of begging will always be there. Let me always be your devotee. Never I should be away from you. Or, oh Lord, give me your vision. I want to see you. I want to feel you. There is nothing wrong in seeing. There is nothing wrong in feeling. There is nothing wrong in having an experience, or you can say an encounter with the Lord. It is something very exalted. It is something very fulfilling. It is something very peace-giving, but then it is not the ultimate, because the classic example is when Krishna, the Lord, was right in front of Arjuna. He was available as a friend, philosopher, guide, everything, all the roles, except the spouse. He played for Arjuna. He was at his beck and call, but in front of him, this fellow is grieving. There will be always something in this world which will be unpleasant to me, which will be hurting to me, which will be painful to me, and then I will seek relief from that particular pain. Thus, that beggarliness will always continue. That partantrata, dependency, will always continue. In fact, modern physics is very helpful today to, as though substantiate the Vedantic fact. When we say everything is mithya, mithya means it appears to be like this, but ultimately it is different. The substance is different, and it looks as quite different from what it is. The modern physics has come, there is no solid matter. It is ultimately the energy, and atoms and protons or molecules which appear in certain combinations, in certain forms, and that gives rise to that gives rise to this particular form. So physics also, he says, the conclusion that Dvaitam is real is falsified even by modern physics. I still repeat, nothing wrong in praying to Lord as a separate from me. It is but natural that one takes somehow Lord is considered to be separate. But one should know that fundamentally he is not away from me. People say, there is a standard statement from these Dvaitins, that I want to test sugar, but I don't want to become sugar. The sugar is sweet, The very experience or meeting with the Lord, encounter with the Lord is very exalting, sweetening example. But then that shows the old beggarliness. There is never going to be satisfaction, sense of contentment forever, because having seen once, the fellow wants again. Having seen again, fellow wants further again. And when he is available all the time, human mind being what it is, for Arjuna, Krishna was available all the time, but then he wanted something else. That is true for every human being. I want something else. So, that separation, in fact, human heart always wants fusion with the total. Human hearts always wants oneness with the total. No one wants to be limited. No one wants to be an individual. It always wants oneness with the Lord. One wants to discover, one wants to be one with the whole. The feeling of wholeness is always sought after. Is Hindi is always sought after, and therefore this is one thing to consider Lord fundamentally separate from myself, and to accept him, that though I see him as of now separate from me, though I want to feel him as of now as an experiential entity, but ultimately he is non-separate from me, this requires, or this calls for, certain amount of Shraddha, certain degree of openness in one's thinking. People are so strong in their opinion that the Lord is separate from me, that they are not even willing to accept this. Pending discovery. They are not willing to say even may be right. That sense is missing. And that is why they want to hold on to that attitude of separation, want to hold on to that Lord who is always away. So Abheda Bhavana necessitates some Shraddha to begin with. And that prayer, that sadhana, or that upasana, or that bhakti, which is with Abheda Bhavana or Bheda Bhavana, gives rise to two kinds of phalam. One punyam, and secondly, it gives a necessary composure, togetherness to one's own mind. And that punya of Abheda Bhavana, that punya of this bhakti, fructifies, matures in viveka, in vairagya. The phalam of bhakti is viveka vairagya. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, you hear this story. Bhagavata says, Bhagavatkara, the Bhakti Devi had her two children, and then one was Gnana and another was Vairagya. Their Gnana means maturity, certain degree of composure of the mind. This to discover Abheda Bhavana, one needs to have certain degree of maturity and certain degree of surrender, Shraddha and Vairagya. Then study of Shastra is necessary. That punya fructifies in getting to a guru. One meets with some teacher, some guru who can teach him the Shastra. One who teaches the Shastra. To have Veda Bhavana, to consider Lord fundamentally to be different from me, you don't need a teacher. You know, Swamiji would very aptly say, you and your ignorance are enough to discover the duality, to establish the duality, to establish the sense of separation. You don't need to study Shastra. And some of you have heard from Swamiji this good old story of Murari. You know, this fellow, some of you may not have. I would like to repeat that. Very interesting story it is. This fellow was a great sannyasi, Mahatma, knew this oneness and vision, and he lived that vision. And everybody knew that he is a person who talks of non-duality and says Jagat is mithya, etc. This one fellow who went to Banaras and studied for 12 years and got some gold medals, an erudite scholar, and got all recognition in Banaras and studied Dvaita philosophy and came back. Tatparya, the essence of his learning was Ishvara is Ishvara and you are you. We are separate. We cannot be one. Nothing, everything is separate from Ishvara. Nothing in this on the Mother Earth can be Ishvara. That was his non-dual vision. There used to be a cultural form, tradition here, that when a scholar meets with another scholar, he must seek dialogue. Let us have discussion. And if the sannyasis seek a discussion, it was a term that let us have bhiksha, vada bhiksha. Vada bhiksha means dialogue bhiksha. So this fellow sought this vada bhiksha from this Vedantin Swami. And from his body language, he understood that he has come to prove this. Then he said, yes, you are right. Sir, you are a great Mahatma. Let us have Vada Bhiksha. But just because of this lockdown and corona, my hairs have grown little more. I need haircut. And since the barber has come, let me finish this, my shaving and all that. So he said, okay, I just be seated, have some refreshment, and then we'll have discussion. And people used to have a lot of time those days, so he waited. And this fellow asked the barber to give him the clean shave. He removed all from here, everything from here. And he had a big beard and a lot of long hairs matted. The lockdown for hair cutting was there for almost 2-3 years. Okay, it was self-imposed lockdown, not imposed by Narendra Modi. No prime minister imposed, but that fellow had imposed that lockdown, and this Mahatma. So he wanted to teach him a lesson. So he said, "Okay, let's have it." And after this fellow, the barber shaved him. That barber's name was Murari, and Murari shaved him clean, and then he looked totally different because he had never seen for 2-3 years his face without hair. The shaving, the whole beard is gone, the hair is gone. Suddenly he looked little younger with the hairs having gone. So he just woke up, got up from the place and did Sastang Pranam to Murari. Murari says, "What are you doing, Maharaj? You are a sannyasi, such a great sannyasi, learned sannyasi, respected sannyasi. I am a grihastha. Actually, I should bow down to you. You are bowing down to me and I am incurring papam. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Sorry, sorry, sorry." This barber just couldn't understand what this Mahatma is doing. He was feeling very embarrassed. What is this? He is doing namaskara to me. Then finally he got up and said, "Again namaskara." Barber said, "Maharaji, don't do this. I am not this." He says, "Why?" "Well, aap hai, bade hai, you are big man and you are you and I am I." And then this Mahatma told the challenger, understood? Even a Murari, a barber, without studying Shastra for 12 years, knows you are separate from me. To establish duality, you don't need Shastra. To establish that there is a sunrise, real sunrise, and the earth is flat and sun is moving around the earth. You don't need science. You need science only to understand that what appears is false. What appears is not true. That duality is perceptible. It is very vivid. You don't need Shastra. Your human mind is enough because it is born with ignorance and it is by birth you take the whole world to be separate from you. You don't need the teachings that he said to other Mahatmas. 12 saal pani mein gaye. 12 years has gone west. You don't need this thing. So the point is, the job of a teacher, when a student approaches him with that Shraddha and with necessary preparedness of some maturity and some composure of the mind. When Gnana Vairagya is there, Gnana means composure, certain maturity. Vairagya means certain objectivity is there. The job of the teacher is to unfold the vision of the Shastra. And that in a certain way. There is a methodology of unfolding by which a student can see the truth, see the non-duality. Like seeing, when the eyes are open, you see the world outside so clearly, so also the student should see clearly, like seeing something in the hand or something in front of the eyes. That is discovering Abheda. That is discovery of the truth. And that is what I would say, even Lord, who is separate from you, wants you to discover. Yesterday I told you, Arjuna was a great bhakta from Krishna. He himself certifies twice. Bhaktosi, you are a great bhakta of mine. But then, when he surrendered, Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam, tvam sharanagatam, with Shraddha and with maturity, he taught the Shastra. They say you should love the Lord like gopis loved the Lord. But then they don't talk of the second half of this Bhagavatam, when Lord sends Uddhava to these gopis. And he tells, Lord Krishna tells to Uddhava, "Hey Uddhava, you teach this vision to gopis." And Uddhava goes to Vrindavan and teaches the vision of non-duality to gopis. Gopis. And Lord himself taught to Arjuna. So, the phalam of this bhakti is Lord sends a guru to you. When I say sends a guru means you accidentally meet with a person whom you look upon as guru and one who is worthy to be guru, who teaches Shastra. That is a grace. And you have the necessary Shraddha also, that you see him as a teacher and surrender him to the word, to study the Shastra. Therefore, he says, compared to Veda Bhavana, Abheda Bhava is Pavani, the ultimate meditation. And the culmination of this Bhavana is in discovery the truth that I am not separate from Ishvara. That is being told in the next shloka. Look at the next shloka, number 9. Okay. Bhava shunya sad bhava susthiti bhavana balat bhaktiruttama bhava shunya sad bhava susthiti bhavana balat bhaktiruttama. Bhagavan says, this is bhakti uttama. This is the ultimate bhakti. Okay, this is the best devotion. This is the culmination of the devotion. What? Bhava shunya sadbhava susthitihi. Sadbhave susthitihi. Abidance in oneself. Abidance in non-duality. And bhava shunya, free from or devoid of any sense of duality. That an abidance which is free from any sense of duality and an abidance into oneself is Uttama Bhakti. Secondly, how it is achieved? He says, Bhavana Balat Bhakti Uttama. Bhavana Balat. Balat means the strength. But here it is not in the sense of strength, it is in the sense of practicing. For a long time, when this is practiced, this Abheda Bhavana, when teaching has taken place, when contemplation Nididhyasana has taken place, and with the strength of that Nididhyasana, through the practice of this Nididhyasana, Bhava Shunya Sthitihi, devoid of any sense of duality, is the ultimate bhakti. The culmination of any meditation or culmination of any upasana or culmination of dhyanam is samadhi. He is talking of samadhi. Samadhi means absorption. Understand? Bhava shunyaha. Vritti nirodha. Please understand properly. People literally try to give up the thoughts. No. Absorption into the vision of non-duality. Owning up that vision of non-duality. That is ultimate bhakti. That is a culmination of meditation. That is called samadhi. Okay? Often I have seen devotees are somehow afraid of Advaita. They just don't want to end the separation. There is some joy, some security, or some contentment, or some absorption they get with the separation, and they don't want to give up. But the very definition of bhakti, whether you take it etymologically, bhavo, bhakti, bhanjane, bhakti, etc., or even simple known meaning of bhakti. Bhakti means surrender. One meaning is there. Surrendering what? What is it that I have to surrender? What is it I have to offer unto the Lord? If you look at it, we can offer nothing to Ishvara. Whatever we offer, ultimately it belongs to Him only. Nothing is ours. That famous line in that Jai Jagadish Hare Aarti, सब कुछ है तेरा स्वामी, क्या लागे मेरा? You know, nothing is mine, everything belongs to you only. We generally offer some flowers, we offer some fruits, we offer some eatables, we offer some money, but anything that you offer ultimately belongs to Ishvara. The flower doesn't belong to me. The Mother Earth was created by Him. Potential that there is a possibility of germinating a seed in the earth was created by Him. The particular flower is created by Him. The fragrance is created by Him. The water is created by Him. The air, the gases necessary for it is created by Him. Sunlight is by Him. Moonlight is by Him. What is yours? Nothing. Like Musa Baina Hawa Pani. Yours is kuch nahi hai. You know, there is, in those days, I remember in our childhood, I'm talking of in 60, okay, 58, 60s, when those used to be small restaurants like Delhi type of thing. And then, and there will be just a table, a small room, 16 by 10 or something, and some tables and chair, four for each, small table and chair. In the order, there will be one supervisor with a pencil here and a pad here, and he will give order. 4 number table, suppose in his calculation. 4 number pe gathia, something. You give gathia 4 number, 3 number pe jalebi, 2 number pe bhajia, etc. He will give order. I still remember that was okay. But another joke was there used to be one restaurant near Sursagar. I was too young and my elder brother used to take me. But those days there was a cultural form that in the home also they used to pick pictures, frame pictures of the leaders and ancestors and all that, you know, national leaders. There used to be Netaji Subhas and Gandhiji and Sardar and Nehru, etc. on above the table on that side walls. So he would shout, Nehru ji ne do gaठिया, Gandhi ji ne bhajiya. Gandhi ji ko mean give bhajiya to Gandhi ji means on that table. And then this fellow came and he just sat for a few minutes. He asked him the order. He says, nothing, I just give me water. Let me think something. I'll give you order later. Sat for 10 minutes and then he was lost in thinking. He was unhappy and broke the glass. He just hit the glass and the glass tumbler broke it. And he went out. So when you go out, there used to be cash counter. You have to pay. So then the cashier asked him, how much to ask? Then he used to say, Khaya piya kuch nahi, is glass foda char aana. He has eaten nothing. Similarly, nothing belongs to us. Musa baina hawa part. Nothing comes from us. Then still we offer. even so-called my money, that capacity to earn is given by him. The buddhi, I could have been born as mentally challenged person. And even having born healthy, I could have been dull. I might not have understood. And the client might not have come. There are so many brilliant people who don't get clients. Even if they are good enough, that requires some punya. So, what is to be ultimately offered? That's something which is yours, totally. So when we do Archana, Namaha, 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 that offering is Mamakar. Na Mama is Namaha. Whatever I consider as mine, I offer. And ultimately, I offer the very offerer. What is completely yours, totally yours, is your ignorance, and ignorance born ego is totally yours. Lord has no claim over it. That is to be offered. And symbolizing that, in the yagnas we have offering the coconut, Mahabali they call it. Or the story of Bali Raja. Bhagavan took away in 2 steps, this loka and paraloka, all here and hereafter, and asked him, where should I put the 3rd feet? What is left for you? Then he says, my head. That means my ego. Oh Ishvara, please crush my ego. That was a seeking. So, surrendering is only of individuality. Ultimate surrender is surrender of ahankara. Then that, when you surrender, that means you are not there. There is only one satyam. Bhava, sadbhava. Sadbhave sustati. The wave, when it discovers itself to be satvastu, that I am water, that individuality is surrendered. So culmination of bhakti, culmination of surrender is in discovery of non-duality. 1. Secondly, if you say bhakti is love, Naraji defines this bhakti as Parama Prema Swarupa. What is bhakti? Which is of the nature of love. Okay? Parama Prema Swarupa. And the culmination of love is when you discover non-duality. Culmination of love is when you discover the beloved to be non-separate from me. That is a culmination. That is the bhakti. So, abheda, discovering abheda is the ultimate bhakti. Therefore, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Gnani tu atmaiva me matam. Gnani is the very self of mind. And the wise man is ultimate bhakti, he says. Udara sarva evaite. They are all great, those who see me as separate. But then the best one, the ultimate one is the one who discovers me to be non-separate from him. And that is possible by study of Shastra. Okay? The love, there is no second thing in love. And this discovery is, please understand, is not something called as theory. Studying the Shastra is a theory, and then you meditate and then realize, and they make it an experiential thing, which is not an experience. If you are ready, and if the teacher is competent enough, okay, competent enough to communicate the vision. Teacher, if he can communicate the Shastra properly, and this listener is ready with necessary Shraddha and proper attitude, you see this even while the teaching takes place. Seeing means you understand. In English, there is a verb. When they are discussing something, some point is being made in the meeting, And suddenly, oh, now I see. Now I see means I understand what you have been talking about this. Now it makes sense to me what you say to me. Now I see. Similarly, you see it even when the teaching takes place. And then the notions, the old habits, old complexes die hard. It deprives you from the fruits of the knowledge. It deprives you from this total happiness that is the phalam of the knowledge, because momentarily you are overpowered by those notions. Momentarily the vision gets clouded by that vision. So therefore it becomes necessary to meditate, and that meditation which is there to grow out of the notions, to discern the notions, to not let myself being, my wisdom being hijacked by notion, that meditation is called Nididhyasanam. In Sanskrit it is said, Viparita Bhavana Nirasa. Negating the Viparita Bhavana, negating the notions of Viparita Bhavana, and that when you negate it again and again, the basic identity gets owned up. Okay? The basic identity which was revealed by the teacher while I was listening to him with a proper attitude, and that identity becomes very clear for me to own up and see. Okay? So that is bhavana balat. What is a bhavana here? By the practice of meditation, though I translated, but it is practice of nididhyasana. This is a meditation, almost you can say, to disown the notional self. It is not simply disowning, seeing, falsifying. That stotra atma shatakam, mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jihve, nacha grana netre. I am disowning what I am not, which unfortunately I had owned up for janmas, not one janma, which was owned up for many janmas, and that is being now disowned. And when that is disowned, and that disowning takes place through owning up, I own up because I own up what I am, and that I own up by knowledge. The knowledge that I received from the teacher. There is no new experience to be gained in Nididhyasana. We are not talking of some experiential reality. We are talking of the reality which is factual, which is cognitive reality. In fact, you don't need a new experience to experience the self, because every experience involves the self. There is no experience possible without the self. Aham taya ya samvid udrumbate. Some of you know this Dakshinamurti Stotram. Balya dishva vijagrada dishutatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavritta sunuvartamanam aham taya ya samvid udrumbate. The self that is revealed as I. In every experience, in every state. Childhood, youth, waking, dream, in every experience there is I. And we are talking of that I which does not require an experience. In fact, every experience is possible because of that I. You don't need an extra experience. The experience is there because of I. And then if that is the case, where is the question of new experience of the self? I have to experience the self in the deep seat of meditation. But I am saying the very experiencer is the self. You don't need a new experience. The very experiencer himself is the self. And so, coming back to the point, it is not a theory and meditation is not a practice. This is factual. What I saw while studying from it at the feet of a competent teacher, when the teacher unfolded, it looked to me a reality at that moment. My mind was so available that I could as though see the things. And when I could see the things, and that somehow got clouded with cloud that got clouded because of my die-hard notions, and that I tried to own it up, those vision again from the teacher, which was seen from the teacher, and that is Nididhyasanam. Okay? This Nididhyasana is a bhakti, bhavana balat, the balam, the strength of owning up myself, gained in a course of time, is uttama bhakti. This is ultimate bhakti, because that is a bhakti where the ego is completely given. The ego is surrendered. The individuality is given up. Or the total is owned. Either way, you say, I am not there. Wave can say this, I am not there, as Miss Wave, because modern American English, you have to say Miss Wave. I am not there. Or Wave can say, I am the ocean. Either way say. That is bhava shunyata. Bhava shunyata means disowning the reality of individual. Wave remains wave. It remains an individual. But that individual, the reality of the individuality, taking myself to be only this much small little wave, and I am Indian Ocean wave and not Pacific waves are coming, and these breakers are bullying me, and on the left one is bigger and the right one is still bigger, and behind me is coming, I am being pushed, and further one doesn't move, blah, 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 all kinds of problems. You just, somebody used to say, you put a human mind to anything, will have problem. The human mind is so great, it can create problem, as they say in Saurashtra. Panimathi pora kadiya. They can create problem in any given situation. So you don't just need that. But then it remains individual. It remains a small thing. That is bhava shunya, means disowning the reality. I am small in terms of form, in terms of shape, in terms of name, but ultimately I am one. That is bhava shunya sthiti. Okay? Bhava shunya sthiti means, I can translate in English as notion, self-notion, shunya sthiti. The avoidance devoid of any notion of individuality. That is Uttama Bhakti, because when individuality is not there, that means you see yourself as total. Individual not being there, non-separate from the total, that is called as surrender of ahankara. Please understand. You cannot, people say, tomorrow onwards I will surrender my ego. I have surrendered my ego to you. That itself is a new ego. And that is a backdoor ego. Yeah, I have surrendered. That is not the surrender. Falsifying the ego. Discovering the fact that the individuality is not real. It's an apparent thing. And the reality is the Sadvastu. Wave falsifying its individuality. Means my waveness, my smallness, my individuality is falsified, is not real. The reality is Satvastu, that which is, which was, and which will always be there. That Vastu which is beyond time, as though, what is it? Water. The wave may die and the wave is born. Wave may survive for some time and wave may be pushed here and there. But it is the wave that is pushed, not the water here and there. It is in the ocean itself. It is H2O itself. In the form of a wave, it is H2O. In the form of breakers, it is H2O. Whatever you call it, it is only H2O. Sadsthiti, discovering the fact that I am that H2O is Bhakti Uttama. Discovering the fact that individuality is false. I am Sachidananda Brahma. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That owning up, and if I use this modern word, 24/7, owning up. 24/7 means the self-identity is different now. Self-awareness is there, and that is gained by Bhavanamala. As I told you, you may see the truth at the feet of a teacher. When you are ready, both are when student is competent enough to understand and teacher is competent enough to unfold. Shrotriya Brahmanishta. Teacher knows how to handle the words, how to communicate without creating any doubts and notions and misconceptions. He knocks off the notions, not creates new notions or new ideas. When that is there, knowledge takes place. That's the nature of the knowledge. And student may see the things, this is it. But as this notion of individuality, notion of looking out, looking at the world as a source of happiness and security is since beginningless time, and it dies very hard. It takes time to disown these notions, and to disown these notions, the practice is Nididhyasanam that can be done with the closed eyes and open eyes as well. Because you reveal in the vision of the truth. You reveal in the teaching of the teacher. You see the false nature of your individuality, and that can be done any which way. And that practice which helps you to own up what you are, that is Bhakti Uttama. And why? Because you own up that you really don't exist. That individuality which I took myself to be somebody is really not there. Aham karta, naham karta, naham bhokta, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. And that is Uttama Bhakti. That is ultimate bhakti. And the last, he just concludes this section of Bhakti. Rusthale manaha swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhasya nishchitam. Rusthale mana swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhasya nishchitam. That compound is one. The last word of the first line and the second word of the second line. Kriya bhakti yoga bodhasya idam nishchitam. Rusthale manasaha swasthata. Abidance of the mind. Abidance of the mind at hridaya. Hridaya means at the heart, at the core of myself, as that which is the essence of myself, that which is the truth of myself, or in the context of the previous verse, sadvastu. Abidance in sadvastu is what? Abidance of this is the result of Kriya, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga or Bodha. Ultimately, it should lead to that. And this is Mata. This is the considered view of all Shastras. Having said that, Ramana Maharshi ji concludes this Bhakti section. He talked about Karma. He talked about Bhakti. And in the Bhakti, culmination of Bhakti, he said that is a knowledge. One thing is yet to be talked about Yoga. The next 2-3 verses are regarding Yoga Shastra. We will discuss that in our next class, next Saturday. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ